If you're listening to this right now, it means I finally found the courage to say what I should have said years ago. 14 days. That's what they gave me. 2 weeks to breathe. 2 weeks to wake up. 2 weeks to look at the sky and know that the number of sunsets left in my life can be counted on my fingers. When you hear a sentence like that, something inside you breaks, but something else awakens. For most of my life, I believed I had time. Unlimited time. Time to fix mistakes. Time to build wealth. Time to repair relationships. Time to become the person I always planned to be. But time was never guaranteed. I just assumed it was. The hospital room. The room was quiet. Too quiet. White walls. A single window. A ticking clock that sounded louder than it should have. I remember staring at that clock while the doctor spoke. His lips were moving, but my mind was somewhere else. Aggressive, progressed quickly, limited options. And then the sentence that changed everything. You have approximately 2 weeks. Approximately. Such a strange word to measure a life. I didn't cry. Not immediately. Instead, I nodded. Calm. Controlled. Almost professional. I walked out of the hospital into the parking lot. Cars were passing by like nothing had happened. People were laughing. Someone was arguing on the phone. A child was running toward their mother. The world was normal. But mine was over. And in that moment, something terrifying became clear. The world does not stop for anyone. No matter how important you think you are. No matter how hard you worked. No matter how much money you made. Life goes on. Without you. The illusion of control. I used to believe I was in control. Control of my schedule. Control of my future. Control of my success. I had plans, 5-year plans, 10-year plans. I would work hard now and enjoy life later. Sacrifice now, relax later. Miss moments now, make up for them later. Later was my favorite word. Later I'll take a vacation. Later I'll visit my parents more often. Later I'll focus on my health. Later I'll tell her how I really feel. But later is dangerous. Because later isn't promised. And when you run out of time, all those laters turn into regrets. Chasing the wrong things. Let me tell you something honestly. I wasn't a bad person. I didn't hurt people intentionally. I didn't wake up trying to destroy relationships. I didn't plan to waste my life. I was just distracted. Distracted by ambition. Distracted by comparison. Distracted by the need to prove myself. I grew up believing success meant money. A bigger house. A better car. A respected title. Recognition. And I chased it relentlessly. I worked weekends. I answered emails at midnight. I said, I'm busy, more times than I said, I love you. Every achievement felt like a victory. But the satisfaction never lasted. There was always another target. Another milestone. Another level to reach. I kept climbing a ladder without asking if it was leaning against the right wall. The cost of ambition. Success has a price. The problem is, they don't tell you the cost up front. You pay with time. You pay with presence. You pay with moments you'll never get back. There were birthdays I missed. Family dinners I skipped. Conversations I postponed. I'll make it up to you, I used to say. But you can't refund time. And now, sitting here counting days, would trade every achievement for one ordinary evening with the people I love. One dinner without checking my phone. One uninterrupted conversation. One more hug. I thought I was building a future. But in reality, I was neglecting the present. And the present is all we truly have. The relationships I neglected. When you're told your life is ending, you don't think about your job title. You think about faces. My mother's gentle smile. My father's silent sacrifices. Friends who slowly stopped calling because I was always busy. Someone who once loved me deeply, and left because I wasn't emotionally available. I always believed there would be time to repair things. Time to apologize. Time to reconnect. Time to show up properly. But life doesn't pause while you figure yourself out. People move on. Moments pass. Opportunities disappear. And sometimes, the last time you see someone is the last time, and you don't even realize it. If I could go back, I would be more present. I would listen more. Talk less. Put my phone down. Look people in the eyes. Because presence is the purest form of love. The ego that ruined peace. Pride is subtle. It doesn't scream. It whispers. You're right. You don't need to apologize. They should understand. You deserve better. My ego protected my image. But it damaged my relationships. There were arguments I could have ended with 2 simple words. I'm sorry. But I didn't say them. Not because I didn't care. But because I wanted to win. And now I realize something painful. Winning an argument is meaningless if you lose the person. If there's someone in your life you need to forgive, do it. If there's someone you need to apologize to, do it. Don't let pride steal years from you like it stole from me. Health, the warning I ignored. There were signs. Fatigue. Stress. Headaches. Sleepless nights. But I ignored them. I'm just tired. I'll rest later. I don't have time to see a doctor. I treated my body like a machine. Push harder. Sleep less. Work more. But your body keeps score. And eventually, it collects its debt. Now, I would give anything for ordinary health. For an average day. For a normal morning without pain. Don't wait until your body forces you to stop. Take care of it now. Because when health disappears, everything else loses value. The fear that held me back. I was afraid of many things. Afraid of failure. Afraid of being judged. Afraid of looking foolish. Afraid of not being good enough. So I played safe. I didn't start the business idea I believed in. I didn't write the book I dreamed about. I didn't express feelings that might have changed everything. I chose security over passion. Comfort over courage. And now I understand something clearly. The pain of regret is heavier than the pain of failure. Failure teaches you. Rejection strengthens you. Embarrassment fades. But regret lingers. It follows you into quiet rooms. It sits with you at night. It whispers, what if? Don't let fear design your life. Because fear doesn't protect you. It limits you. If I had more time. If someone walked into this room right now and said, we made a mistake. You have years left. I would live differently. I wouldn't rush mornings. I wouldn't obsess over emails. I wouldn't measure my worth by productivity. I would wake up slower. Call people more. Laugh louder. Take more risks. Forgive faster. But here's the truth. You don't need a diagnosis to start living like that. You don't need tragedy to wake up. You just need awareness. The real meaning of wealth. I thought wealth meant numbers in a bank account. Now I know better. Wealth is good health. Deep relationships. Inner peace. Time freedom. Meaningful work. Everything else is decoration. When your time becomes limited, clarity becomes sharp. You see what truly matters. And it's rarely what you spent most of your energy chasing. A question for you. Let me ask you something. If you were told you have 2 weeks left, what would change? Who would you call? What would you stop doing? What would suddenly feel unimportant? Now ask yourself something even more powerful. Why aren't you making those changes now? Why are you waiting? You don't need permission to live fully. You don't need a countdown to value your time. My promise to you. I can't change my past. But maybe my story can change your future. If you're healthy, appreciate it. If you have family, cherish them. If you have dreams, start them. If you have love, express it. Don't assume you have decades. Assume you have today. Because that's the only day guaranteed. These 14 days are teaching me what 40 years never did. Clarity. Humility. Gratitude. And this is only the beginning of what I need to tell you. In the next part, I'll share the hardest truths, the moments that still haunt me, the specific mistakes that cost me relationships, and the one realization that changed how I see everything. If you're listening, don't wait. Start living now. Before your 2 weeks begins. When you know your time is limited, memories don't visit you gently. They rush in. Uninvited. Unfiltered. Unforgiving. In these quiet nights, when the world is asleep and the noise disappears, I don't think about achievements. I think about moments. Moments I mishandled. Moments I misunderstood. Moments I wasted. And there are a few that still hurt the most. The day I chose work over love. There was a night, I remember it clearly. It was raining. My phone kept vibrating on the table. An important meeting. A career-defining opportunity. At the same time, someone I loved needed me. Not for money. Not for solutions. Just for presence. But I said the words I had practiced my whole life. I can't right now. I'm busy. That sentence seems harmless. But sometimes, I'm busy really means, you are not my priority. That night changed everything. Not immediately. There was no dramatic breakup. No shouting. No door slamming. Just distance. Slow. Silent. Growing distance. Love doesn't usually explode. It fades. Because of neglect. And now, sitting here counting days, I realize something. No meeting was worth that loss. No promotion justified that absence. No success replaced that connection. If someone you love asks for your time, and you can give it, give it. Opportunities return. People don't always. The father I didn't understand. My father was a quiet man. He didn't express emotions easily. He didn't give long speeches. He showed love through effort. Working long hours. Fixing things around the house. Providing silently. When I was younger, I misunderstood him. I thought he was distant. Cold. Too strict. I wanted more words. More affection. More softness. But I never asked him about his struggles. I never asked what he sacrificed. I never asked how tired he was. As I grew older, I became busy. Calls became shorter. Visits became rarer. I'll visit next month. I'll call on the weekend. Sometimes I forgot. Now, when I look back, I see his love clearly. It was always there. I just didn't recognize its language. If your parents are still alive, sit with them. Ask them questions. Listen to their stories. Understand their silence. One day, you'll wish you had listened more carefully. The friend I let drift away. We used to talk every day. Dream together. Laugh at stupid things. Plan futures we were sure we'd conquer. Then life got busy. He called. I said, I'll call you back. He messaged. I replied hours later. Eventually, the calls stopped. Not because of anger, but because effort became one-sided. Friendships don't die dramatically. They fade quietly when not nourished. And when I think about it now, I realize how easily I let something valuable slip away. Real friends are rare. If you have one, protect that connection. Send the message. Make the call. Plan the visit. Don't assume they'll always be there waiting. The apology that came too late. There was someone I hurt deeply. Not intentionally, but carelessly. I was impatient. Focused on myself. Too proud to admit when I was wrong. We argued. I believed time would fix it. Time fixes nothing without effort. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Silence grew heavier. I wanted to reach out many times. But ego stopped me. What if they don't respond? What if they reject me? What if I look weak? Now I laugh at how foolish that fear was. Weakness isn't apologizing. Weakness is letting pride destroy something meaningful. If there is someone you need to say sorry to, don't rehearse it for years like I did. Say it. Even if your voice shakes. Even if your ego resists. Because one day, you might run out of time. And regret is louder than pride. The dream I never started. For years, I had an idea. Something creative. Something risky. Something meaningful. But it didn't feel safe. So I postponed it. I'll start when I have more savings. I'll start when things are stable. I'll start when I'm ready. Here's the truth. You'll never feel fully ready. Fear doesn't disappear before action. It fades after action. I waited for confidence. But confidence comes from doing. Not thinking. Now, with 14 days left, that unfinished dream feels heavier than any failure ever could. If you have something in your heart, start small. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Perfection is a myth that kills potential. The obsession with being important. I wanted to matter. To be respected. To be recognized. To be admired. So I chased validation. Titles. Awards. Social approval. Every compliment felt like oxygen. But validation is addictive. The more you get, the more you crave. And eventually, you build a life designed to impress others instead of fulfill yourself. Now, when I think about those awards, they feel meaningless. They don't hug you. They don't comfort you. They don't sit beside you in hospital rooms. Importance isn't about being known by many. It's about being deeply valued by a few. If you're building a life, build one that feels real, not one that looks impressive. The realization that changed everything. A few nights ago, I couldn't sleep. The house was silent. I walked outside and looked at the sky. For the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about deadlines. I was just present. The air felt different. The stars felt brighter. The silence felt honest. And I understood something powerful. Life was never supposed to be rushed. We rush because we're afraid of stillness. Because stillness forces reflection. And reflection reveals truth. The truth is simple. Most of what we stress about doesn't matter. Most of what we argue about isn't worth it. Most of what we chase isn't necessary. But we don't realize it until time becomes limited. If I could give you one gift, it wouldn't be money. It wouldn't be advice about business. It wouldn't be productivity hacks. It would be awareness. Awareness that time is fragile. Health is priceless. Love requires effort. Pride destroys connection. Fear limits potential. You don't need tragedy to understand this. You just need to pause. Look at your life honestly. Are you present? Are you grateful? Are you courageous? Are you kind? Or are you distracted, postponing what matters? The shift from fear to gratitude. When I first heard 2 weeks, I felt fear. Now, strangely, I feel gratitude. Grateful for the clarity. Grateful for the lessons. Grateful for the chance to say what I never said. Not everyone gets that opportunity. Some leave suddenly. Without warning. Without closure. Without goodbye. If you're alive and reading this, you have something precious. Time. Maybe not unlimited. But enough. Enough to fix things. Enough to start over. Enough to love properly. Enough to live intentionally.